What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you today on YouTube, and today I am wrestling with myself. Today was WWE's version of Black Friday. This was the spring cleaning day everybody was talking about for a while now. This is the one day a year after WrestleMania where they sort of make cuts. Vince, I guess, takes some of the lower end guys on the roster who hasn't been getting used for a while and decides to make some roster cuts. Besides the two that happened a few days ago, the two announcers that were cut, there were 8 more today so far as of the shooting of this video. As I'm filming this, 8 guys were released. So I want to give you guys that list and sort of go over each person's career and what they could be elsewhere, what else they could move on to. So I have my list here. I will go ahead and read it real quick. The most shocking and sad one, I guess, today was Damien Sandow. He was a guy that had all the tools to be a major star. He was over with the audience. He had a great character with the intellectual savior of the masses when he came in. He had a good moveset in the ring, was a good wrestler, had good mic skills, he had a good look. I don't know why this didn't work for him. He came in with the heel intellectual character, the genius kind of guy. That worked out really well as a heel. He had a nice heel run. He won Money in the Bank, and for some reason they had him lose to John Cena. For reasons unbeknownst to anybody, he lost the Money in the Bank and never really recovered from that. He went on to be given a comedy gimmick with The Miz. He was The Miz's personal assistant, Damien Sandow, which was meant to be a throwaway thing to kind of bury him, and he wound up making it the most popular thing on the roster. He became one of the most over guys on the entire roster. And so he took this throwaway thing and made it into a big deal. And then when that was finally over, after it got over, they had him do the serious promo the next night on Raw, saying that he wanted to be himself again. And that got over as well. And then they decided to scrap that right away and turn him into Macho Mandow, which also was popular. And then once Hogan got into his trouble, they scrapped that altogether. And we haven't seen Sandow do anything meaningful since. So Sandow had a good serious heel character. He had good comedy face characters that he got over. He was a hard worker, and he had all the tools. I have no idea why he wasn't pushed harder. So this one is sad for me and for a lot of fans out there. I think Sandow could be money somewhere else, anywhere really. I think he's good enough in the ring and provide something different for Ring of Honor. I don't know that he can hang with the top guys in ROH as far as the indie style of wrestling. He might not be that advanced in the ring, but I think he's good enough, and I think he could be a different kind of a character for ROH. Again, his promo skills are good too, so he can make it pretty much anywhere. I could see him being in GFW if it ever actually takes off. I could see him doing some stuff for Ring of Honor if they can afford to pay him whatever he asks. TNA, of course, will go after him as they'll go after most anybody on this list. They're looking for talent, but he would fit TNA the best as far as a character-driven thing. And whether he wants to do comedy or be a heel, I think he could do either. So I could see him succeeding elsewhere, and I hope that he does. Wade Barrett was another of the biggest names to be cut today. No big surprise, though. He asked for his release. He said he was going to be not re-signing when his contract was up, I think in June next month. So they gave him a couple weeks early of a release. This is a guy who really could have been a major star, again, having all the tools. Being mentored by Regal in his NXT days, being the leader of Nexus, having a good size, a great look, the good British style, which was different for the guys on the roster at the time. Promo skills are there, the intensity's there, everything. This guy was, all the tools again to be a star. But the problem was injuries. Every time they started to push this guy to the main event in feuding with Cena or Orton or whoever, he always got hurt at inopportune times and never really was healthy when he came back. I mean, he got injured every time that he won the IC belt or had major feuds going. So this is one guy that even though he should have been a main eventer, world champion level guy, you can't blame the company for not pushing him because they tried and he got hurt too much. But if he can stay healthy again, he can be a major asset. He is good enough in the ring for Ring of Honor, and he has, again, something different that they don't really have in ROH. Besides guys like Dijak and Moose, there aren't too many big, tall, stature, guys, and he has the name value of being a big star in WWE for a long time. So I think he could really do well in ROH, and they should look at signing him. Again, if GFW gets off the ground. And this guy as well has the talent for New Japan or for the British companies. British wrestling has taken off recently with Progress and Revolution Pro, and he fits in with that British English style. Or he could work for NJPW, go work for New Japan, and could really be an asset there. So again, as long as he's healthy, he could be a major star somewhere else. We had Hornswoggle being released. No big surprise. He hasn't done anything for quite a while, but he was with the company for 10 years. He was brought in 2006 with Fit Finlay. He was basically the result of a lot of wacky storylines. If something didn't go their way, they threw Hornswoggle into it. He was part of DX for a while. He was McMahon's illegitimate son in that limousine blow-up angle that they did with Vince around the time Chris Benoit died. He was I think he was Raw's anonymous general manager as well. They used him for, I think his most famous thing was the WLC match against El Torito. So he's had a couple good comedy spots here and there. I'm not really a big fan of that style, the whole comedy thing. I don't think he added much to the product. And again, he hasn't been used for a while, so he's not going to be, it wasn't a big surprise here. Obviously, it sucks to see anybody cut. You don't want to see anybody lose their jobs or not be able to support their families, so I don't endorse any of these cuts, and I feel bad for all of these guys. But I wasn't a big Hornswoggle fan. He may show up in TNA, though, or something randomly. He's going to be doing a lot of autograph signings, I'm sure. He's going to have some clout to make some money. Also, similar vein, El Torito was cut. He had a short run with Los Matadores, Primo and Epico. Now they're being retold as a new tag team, so El Torito's gone. He had a very short stint, didn't do a whole lot, so no big surprise. We had Cameron cut. She was the only women wrestler or diva cut today. No big surprise. She was speaking out against the company in the whole pay issue with Ryback on Twitter. She was talking yesterday about bullying. She had a very infamous run from being on Tough Enough last year, saying her favorite or not last year, but several seasons ago, saying her favorite match was Melina against Alicia Fox. That's never going to get lived down. Pinning somebody backwards. I forget who she was facing. I think it was Naomi. She tried to pin her while she was on her stomach, so she doesn't know the wrestling rules too well. She had a long time to train. She was on Total Divas. She never really got better in the several years she's been with the company. Probably one of the worst pro wrestlers on the roster. So I'm sad to see her go, as far as the money issue and being fired and all that. But not much here talent-wise. She's in the wrong business. Good luck with modeling, I think, for Cameron. Alex Riley was cut. I could see him actually being a star in TNA. I could see TNA going after him, or GFW going after him if they get off the ground. He was on pace for big things. He debuted with The Miz. He was Miz's assistant for a while there, and he broke away and got popular. When he broke away from Miz, he beat The Miz in a singles program, and he had some the pop with the fans going. He had momentum in his favor, and I guess rumors are that he fell out backstage with John Cena, had some problems with Cena backstage, and that was the end of his push. He got injured, I think, and came back on NXT. The guy does have some pluses in his favor. He's really intense on the microphone. He's a good promo guy. He shows good intensity. His facial expressions in the ring are good. He has a solid look to him, in a way, and he's not horrible in the ring. He's sort of average. He's not great, but he's not bad either. So he has some pluses to him. The minuses are mostly his personality. He has a lot of problems with social media and speaking out where he shouldn't, talking trash on fans, having poor grammar, saying some ridiculous things. So his personality is the biggest problem here. He has some pluses, like I said, in the ring, and especially in his promos and intensity. As a commentator for NXT, he was getting better for a while there, so he could serve a purpose somewhere else, but his time here has kind of run out. They've done all they can do with him, and he's got to watch his personality on social media. Santino Marella was cut. Again, I didn't know he was even on the roster anymore. He retired several years ago, and only made one appearance since he announced his retirement a couple years ago. So I thought he was already off the roster, but apparently now it's official that Santino's gone. Color me surprised, but I guess it makes sense since they weren't using him anyway, if he was still signed. And finally, Zeb Coulter. And this one's very interesting because as a manager, he'd kind of run his course. The stuff with Swagger did all he could do. He came back and managed Del Rio for a while in the Mexican-American thing. That didn't work out so well. He's got a lot of injury issues, I guess, from surgeries and advanced age and stuff like that. But as a manager or as a booker, he could be very valuable somewhere else. This one's an underrated cut because as a mind for wrestling, he has a lot of experience. Booking in Puerto Rico, booking for TNA in the past, booking for WWE in the past. He has a lot of booking experience and a lot of smarts about the wrestling business. He could be a valuable asset to a writing team, or he could mentor young wrestlers as a manager. He's got a lot of experience there as well. So, again, GFW needing guys getting off the ground. Coulter could be valuable there. I think Ring of Honor could use some direction and actually have some feuds instead of just matches all the time. If they wanted to book their programs to have more of a direction feud-wise and character-wise, or having Zeb manage somebody younger, like a Moose or like an Adam Page or like a Matt Taven, somebody who could use a mouthpiece and some direction. I think Coulter could fit well in there. And of course, I think TNA would be wise to go after this guy. Even though Dixie is the problem, I think Coulter could be a good voice for those meetings. So those are the 8 cuts so far. If there are more, I will probably post another video or at least tweet about it at jayburke, Jayburke. Follow me on Twitter. Again, if there are more cuts, I will let you guys know. Who are you guys surprised to see cut? Who did you guys think should be cut that wasn't? And if there are more cuts today, who else do you think will be cut? And how do you think these guys that I talked about today will do on the indies or do elsewhere? What do you think is the next step for their careers? So tell me down below in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until the next opening bell, guys, I will see you all real soon. Thank you.